Hello, and welcome to the first of what we hope will be many Eurogamer video talkthroughs. Video talkthrough, a phrase that I came up with, which is why we're using it. I'm Tom Bramwell, and I'm joined by Tom Phillips.
Hello there.
We're the guys who have the worst job titles at Eurogamer. What's yours?
It's website and video administrator, I believe.
Wow, amazing. Who came out with that crap?
I don't know.
It was me. Anyway, we haven't got time to do me. This is Deus Ex Human Revolution. Deus Ex Human Revolution, as you've probably seen, is a game that we very much like. It scored 9 out of 10 earlier this week. This is we're basically showing you us playing through the first kind of mission that you get into after the initial introductory preamble and tutorial. We're going to play it through a couple of ways, just so you can get a sense of the variety that's sort of evident in Deus Ex. For people who don't know Deus Ex, it's a game where you can very much kind of set your own agenda in terms of the stuff that you do in the game. Bloody hell. This is one of the things you can do. You can sneak up behind somebody and brutally murder them.
So there's another way of doing that. You could have presumably employed some stealth and...
and sort of incapacitated them without actually doing them any damage. Now, what's going on here is we could have kind of like gone through the area that you can see through there. There's like a bunch of guards in there, and we could have just stomped through, smashing them up. And because that first guy who we attacked saw us, honestly, whoever's playing this is totally rubbish. But since he saw us, they're all alarmed and they're looking for us. So we're going to try and take them out.
That looks like a good barrel. Yep, it's an explosive barrel.
Didn't actually hurt any of them, I don't think.
But presumably that's now caused a diversion. Are they going to go check it out, or...?
Yeah, I mean, there's an element of last known position to it. Actually, one of the things you can unlock later in the game is the ability to see on your minimap where the enemies think you are, sort of where they last saw you. It's one of a range of stealth augmentations that you can attach to your person.
So what are the advantages of staying in cover as you are now? I mean, presumably you're stopping yourself getting hit, but I mean, could you just go over and wipe those guys out? Yeah, definitely, but it's much more of a... although it's all from the first-person perspective, it's not really an FPS in the same sense as like a Call of Duty or something of that nature. It's a very unforgiving action game, a lot more like kind of a Metal Gear Solid, where you basically don't want to be out in the open because you will get killed. Although in this case, having distracted the guards and sort of pushed them over there, we had the room to sort of stand up and take them out. It was a nice little cut there, quite like that. Nice little transition from our video editor, James Hills. Obviously felt that the section where he was milling about in the courtyard looking in people's pockets wasn't interesting enough for you. So we've skipped along a little bit. We're still in the courtyard, coming into this building. We're not really spoiling the story for you at all here. I mean, this is like 20 minutes into the game, and we've actually avoided all of the cutscenes that lead up to it. Oh yeah, that's nice. That is nice. On my first playthrough of Deus Ex, I didn't use the blades at all. I just used, just incapacitated people. How do you do that then?
Well, because you've got basically when you go up behind someone, you get two options. You can do if you hold the button down, then you get your blades out and smash them up. And if you just tap it, then you just incapacitate them, which you'll see a bit of when we do the stealth version. Wow, this is some quite remedial.
Adam Jensen in trouble here. Are we applying a health pack? No, we're switching out to a beefier weapon.
Oh, you see, yeah, he's flipped it over to a pistol here, which I respect. Man down. You get XP for pretty much anything you do in the game, which is really cool, actually, because a lot of games kind of only want you to play it quite a pure sort of approach. You know, they only want you to do one style of play. Try me. Like you say, Mass Effect, for example, where you're either a paragon or a renegade. You know,
yeah.
And your actions go towards one or the other, and it's like a tug of war. With this, basically progress is considered progress, and you just get rewarded for it.
That's interesting. So how does it work out how much XP to give? Does it penalise you for doing the same thing over and over again, or? I
don't think it does, to be honest. I mean, I think it basically has a certain amount of things that are worth XP. Like, for example, just shooting a guy is clearly worth 10, as you can see there. There's another guy. I think you get extra if you take them down without them noticing your presence. If you go the whole way through an area without being spotted, you get one called Ghost, which gives you like 500 XP. And
presumably you can go through, well, much of the game without actually having killed anybody.
Yes, you can go through the entire game without killing anyone except the bosses. and there's an achievement for that, which is quite cool.
How easy is it, would you say? I mean, do sometimes like you feel that you need to rely on action, or is it simpler to go through in stealth?
Sorry, I was just enjoying that animation. It's a game that kind of leans towards stealth over action, I would say. It's easier to get through these areas. It's more satisfying for me anyway to get through these areas without being spotted. And you tend to have more opportunity to sort of take advantage of side routes and explore the environment. Also, if you just straight up murder everybody, then you're going to run out of consumables pretty quickly, and this is a game where ammo is scarce. And also, those takedowns, each of them uses one little nugget of your energy piece, the little... It's not actually visible now, brilliantly. The exact point at which I want to talk about it is not on the screen. But there's like a little energy bar in the top left, and each takedown expends one segment of it, and it only recharges one segment automatically. So for like the rest of the game, you need to collect these energy bars that are sort of lying around, or pills.
Cool. So back then, just go back a bit. We were hacking that panel. Is that a big part of the gameplay?
Oh yeah. Hacking is super big part of the gameplay. You pretty much everywhere you go, there are these computer terminals, which you can. The idea is that like the HUD here is actually what you're seeing in the game, like it's your retinal display, which admittedly makes more sense when it's not using a third-person snap to. But the idea is that it highlights anything that's interactive in the world, so you see it with a kind of a halo effect on it, a bit like in Halo 3 ODST or Bioshock, where it sort of highlights shiny things you can interact with as shiny objects. And you see loads of these computer terminals you can hack into, those door things that you can hack into, and generally speaking, they will unlock someone's email or access to security systems or doors or whatever. Well, there's some really cool... that's something that people really like actually in Deus Ex, the fact that when you pick up a crate, it's sort of translucent in front of your face, so you can see where you're placing it, rather than being this sort of big thing you're holding up blocking your view.
That's nice.
Yeah. Cool story, bro. Here we see the inside of a vent. There's a lot of this.
Can't believe you just said that.
There's a lot of this. There's a turret. He's really kind of... he's actually done a little bit of stealth there, which I respect. And there we go. This is about where we brought you up to. The main reason we stopped it there was because there was a bit of story which we didn't want to show you. So anyway, that was the first section of this, the first proper mission in the game, played through by an angry white van man from Southend. This is me playing it as stealth, which I recorded yesterday. That's your prompt to say cool story, bro. Anyway.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah, well done.
So... are you going to be able to get through this without killing...
Am I going to be able to get through without being seen?
Yeah.
Well, let's find out. So you see, I can press or I can hold. In this case, that is considered stealth. Now, obviously I loot this guy, but I don't just want to leave him around for people to find, so I take him for a walk. Look at him go. Oh yeah. I'll nick his gun as well. I'm not going to use it, but, useful to have. I can sell it later.
So there's no Fallout-style nicking of clothes? You can't leave them in their underwear?
No. Actually, as I was moving there, you probably weren't looking, but I noticed that these things were all stacked up in a kind of convenient way. So whereas James went round the left and sort of went in through the, I guess what you'd call the main entrance, I'm taking a slightly different route to our objective. There's some electricity on the floor there, so I've decided to go through this vent that I clearly knew about in advance. I really could have managed this playthrough a bit more, couldn't I? So that it looked less like I knew exactly what I was doing.
You could have gone the wrong way at least once.
Yeah. Some guys in there. We'll be dealing with them later.
It's a really good-looking game, I have to say.
I really love everything about it, except the character models are a bit kind of 1998, but, you can't have everything. It is a nice looking game though. It reminds me a lot of the big shell section of Metal Gear Solid 2, which is in no way a bad thing. So anyway, I've broken into the facility here from above, which you've got to respect. And now I'm in a slightly different... So that main area that James just went through and started blasting people, I'm now in a little side room, and here's a computer. You get loads of these in the game. This one doesn't need hacking. But anyway, I'm having a look at someone's email.
So do these give sort of main story information, or is it all sort of background, for the people who really want to get the full sort of story?
The archaeologists.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's both actually. There's a really good mix. Sometimes you find codes that are useful for unlocking incidental stuff like weapons caches. Sometimes you find stuff that's quite vital to your central mission. It's nice. There's a real feeling when you're playing the game and sort of ripping into people's email and exploring that you're actually discovering things, and that it isn't just compartmentalised and preordained in the way that so many action games are. What I'm doing here is moving very sneakily around these guys. I've completely avoided killing or hurting or even being seen by anyone in that room, which is nice.
So will you miss out on anything, like presumably items they were carrying, or maybe entrance codes they had which would let you in other areas?
Yeah, theoretically. But
so it's a game you could definitely play through more than once to try and experience everything.
Well, yeah, the first time actually that I played through this level, I didn't realise you could go around this way. I went a completely different way, and I missed a couple of things. So anyway, I'm going to knock this guy out. You would think that his mate might notice that happening. You would think
so.
But he's obviously so angry about the police outside that he's...
You're not going to...
Wow. Oh, I was spotted, but it doesn't really matter because I shot him with a tranquilizer rifle. I am really good at this game. I think that is what people will take away from this this inaugural video talkthrough.
Well, for your review, you did play it through and then played it through again, or parts of it for the to get both approaches, because it is so drastically different. I mean, looking at James's playthrough, I think round about now he was still stuck behind those boxes, firing at people, losing ammo, and that's one way to do it. Or another way is this way, where we're looking at areas that are completely new.
Yeah, it's great in that respect. I love the fact that there's so much variety. It's cool. So there's like two guys standing here on the other side of this door behind those crates. I don't want to be spotted by them.
You've just completely gone around the room and popped out the other side to where you were?
I'm gonna. I mean, there's two quite similar sections in this level. So there was the section just now where I went up into the rafters. This is a different room, similar but a bit further on. And I'm going to do a similar thing, although I'm going to work my way across it at ground level this time.
It's a nice hand there on the right.
Yeah, good use of a hand there. The incidental detail in the game is really cool, actually. There are lots of little references to Deus Ex, the original, if you know what to look for, in certain things that happen and people and stuff, and details around the edges. And there's just loads of cool stuff to look at. Like, there are newspapers that you can pick up, which are like tablets, effectively, that sort of have stories relating to like pop culture and stuff. There's advertising. There's a Final Fantasy 17 advert in one of the bunk beds in one of the installations
nice.
somewhere. Yeah, so here we are. I mean, you spend a lot of time looking at the minimap in stealth, trying to work out whether you're in a good position to make a run for it. What I really like about the stealth system, specifically the cover aspect of it, is that you're completely concealed when you're in cover. But if you let go of the left trigger, if you're playing on a console, which is the button that binds you to cover, your physical position in the world doesn't alter at all. So in terms of the enemy's ability to see you, you're as invisible as you would have been if you were holding the cover button. So you're never in a position where you're like, I need to clamp buttons or I'm going to be seen.
That's really nice.
Also, when you're in cover, you can basically see every angle from which you would be visible. This is like one of the only times in the game where you find a praxis point lying on the floor. Here we go, I'm jumping into the menu here. So this is the praxis points, the augmentation screen where I can spend my praxis points. There's like a bunch of different augmentations split into different categories. I actually don't have enough points to activate much at this point. Social Enhancer, that's one I could have got. Social Enhancers, it gives you a bunch of readouts that help you in conversations, so you can see what somebody's personality type is and what kind of things they're susceptible to, so that you can try and take advantage of them.
So you can try and talk yourself out of confrontations? Certain
confrontations. It's not as talky a game as something like Mass Effect, but there are definitely points where you get into arguments and basically you can cheat your way through them. I tell you what, some of the arguments in this game, the chats and stuff, God, I would have loved that system in LA Noire. Anyway, we're getting to the end of the video talkthrough. Hope you enjoyed it. I was Tom Bramwell.
I was Tom Phillips.
And this was Deus Ex Human Revolution, which is out this week on PC, PS3 and Xbox 360.